from LPI Studios in Memphis, Tennessee, it's R&R on Sports with Uncle Howard Robertson.
Everybody that is in a leadership position is not necessarily a leader.
Jenny on the block, Jennifer Conroy.
It's a standoff now between Phil Jackson and Carmelo Anthony. And so I think they've put out there that he's being shopped.
And the magnificent, tremendous, undeniable, undisputed, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, Larry Robinson.
Nerlens Noel going to Dallas from the 76ers. He was asking to get out of there. They really got a log jam in the front court.
It's R&R on Sports.
Hello and welcome to R&R on Sports. I'm Uncle Howard.
And I am the fantastic, the amazing. Let me count the ways. Let me count the many ways.
Can you count up to 50? Can you count up?
Why you gonna 50? Hold on, listen to this, America.
That's how old
This is Larry Robinson.
That's how old you be.
When your boy, your partner, comes to your surprise birthday party,
nice party,
with a pack, a 50, an old person's pack. Now listen what I had in. I had some basically some Geritol for over 50.
What Geritol's vitamins?
Vitamins or whatever for over 50. Then it had some magnesium citrate, some stuff I ain't know. It was flavored.
Regularity, my brother.
Great.
Regularity.
I had some Depends.
That's right. You
then he got
have
me.
An accident.
Then he got me some pitted prunes.
Pitted from the best
What's
kind.
up with that, man? You're supposed to help me through this traumatic period.
You are my 50-plus protege, my man. And only the best for you, man. It's the least I could do. Hell.
Man, see, see, when you got friends like this, you don't need
great
any
party,
enemies.
though. Your wife had a very, very, very nice
check it out, man. I was totally surprised.
Were you?
I was. You know, it was like, everything was a little off, but it was like, okay, what are y'all doing? So I thought they were going to, like, surprise me at, like, Rafferty's.
Okay.
Because I had to pick up my son because his car broke down, supposedly.
Allegedly.
But, you know, but when you break down and your car ends up in a
But I've seen this car, and that's totally believable.
Get off my son's car, man. He does have a hoopty, though, doesn't he? Well, anyway, so it was wonderful. It was a surprise party. I want to thank all of the people that attended. It was fantastic. And, man, I was up about 3-4 in the morning, throwing up everything.
Don't tell nobody that. Don't tell nobody.
I was praying to the porcelain god.
Don't tell anybody that. You can't party anymore.
No, brother. At 50, you was like, here, let me show you what 50 really feels like.
So what does it feel like that Tony Romo will be next season?
It feels to me that he's going to be in Houston. It feels to me. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see Kansas City. I wouldn't be surprised if we see. I wouldn't be surprised.
Denver.
Denver. I wouldn't be surprised at Denver. But, you know, you talk about NFC versus AFC. And from what I understand, Jerry Jones has a
they got
of
a pact
agreement,
that
little agreement
won't,
that he wouldn't be coming into the house to take him out of the playoffs or nothing like that.
Right.
So, and as well as he's been treated by Jerry Jones, I can see that. I think
Houston would be a good move.
Yeah,
I mean, for the obvious reason, it's close.
Right.
You were talking earlier about him being of Latino descent.
Yeah.
And
I think that, you know,
that's a great place to be.
Absolutely. I think it's going to help the Houston franchise gain more fans, gain deeper engagement out of the people out of Mexico and New Mexico and so on and so forth.
And the O-line. Their offensive line is better.
He needs one because he's fragile.
Give me a number. How many games has he missed since 2010 due to injury?
I'd say at least about 25, 30.
40.
40 games?
40-something, yeah. It might be 42.
He's missed 40 games
since 2010.
He's been collecting checks.
7 years.
He's been collecting checks and not working.
You know he ain't been missing checks. Right?
Hey, man. Hey, Tony Romo.
Fragile. He's fragile. Somebody's got to protect him.
Very fragile dude.
So go to Houston, man.
Go to Houston.
Go to Houston.
Yeah,
so,
you better go to Houston. But listen, man, I wouldn't be surprised he end up in Denver, though.
Yeah, we'll see.
I wouldn't be surprised.
There's other movement, too, though, and we're going to talk about that when we come back with more R&R on the other side of this.
Hey, and once again, R&R listeners, my Uncle Rageous is back in the studio. Hey, Uncle Rageous, where have you been? What's been going on?
Hey there, nephew. Well, just flew in from the West Coast.
Is that right? What are you doing out there?
What I always do, taking care of business, TCBing. But nephew, one day, whilst I was taking me a little walk on the beach, this woman come jogging towards me. She was an athletic-looking woman, a tall drink of water, with a long, pretty hair,
All right.
and she stops and says, "Hello, I'm CJ." Don't know what it is, but when white women sees me, they always catches a bad case of rageous fever.
Oh, you crazy.
So we has us this little intercourse right there on the beach.
What?
Conversational intercourse, fool. Yeah, got a deep, sexy voice, and she tells me she lives in a big house up on the mountain, and there's been a lot of changes in her life lately. And she's looking for a man who can understand. And she said, I have a very understanding face. She needs a new boo, nephew. And she look like she got plenty of loot, too.
Oh, my God. Listen. This sounds too much like Shelley Sterling to me.
This her calling me right now. Right here. Shh. Hey, baby. How you doing today?
Hi, Rageous. How are you? Have you been thinking about me?
Baby, I dreamed about you all night long.
Really?
Sure did. And when I woke up, Richard was standing straight up looking at me and saying, what we gonna do now?
Who is Richard? And, ooh, Uncle Rageous, you are a nasty old man. I'm trying to do a clean show here.
Oh, Rageous, that made my new nipples tingle. And I've got a surprise for you. I'm sending you an airline ticket, first class, of course, so you can be my escort to the Olympic Committee Gala in a few weeks.
Wait a minute. CJ, tall, athletic, live on a mountain, deep voice, changes in her life, and new... Oh, snap! No, hang up,
Baby, I'm thrilled to be your escort.
Oh,
we gonna be all the rage. Get it?
You mean all the rage? Us? I get it.
Uncle Rageous, we gotta talk, man. We gotta talk.
I can't wait to meet Richard.
You're listening to R&R on Sports. And don't forget to subscribe and rate our podcast. Go to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or any of your podcast providers.
House so empty, need a centerpiece. 20 racks a table cut from ebony. Cut that ivory into skinny pieces. Then she clean up with her face. But I love my baby.
And we are back. Hope you got your ha-ha on. We were talking about movement in the NFL, so there's other movement as well.
Check it out. Jameis Winston now has a really cool wide receiver combo.
What's his name?
DeSean Jackson. DeSean Jackson, man. I mean, that gives him a serious deep threat.
Yeah.
Got Mike Evans on the other side.
Yeah.
I mean, he got some weapons now.
Yeah.
He's got some weapons.
Yeah. He got to
Decent
deliver.
back.
He's got to deliver.
He's got to deliver. He's got to deliver
the goods.
But man, check out your boy Brandon Marshall, our frat brother.
Going to Giants.
Our frat brother
Going
literally
Giants way.
didn't even have to move.
Hey,
went
that's
just right
exactly
across
right.
town.
That's exactly right. And it gives the Giants so much of an alternative and number two options.
Well, I think with Odell Beckham, with Odell Beckham
that's
Jr.
the number one. That's the primary.
Yeah, but I'm still saying with Odell Beckham Jr., now he's got a consummate pro. Brandon Marshall has been a serious pro since he had some early troubles.
Right.
But
and I'm going to tell you something else. I heard an interview with Brandon Marshall, and he understands and acknowledges that he's number two. That means a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Because wide receivers have among the biggest egos on the planet.
So who they have? OBJ, Odell Beckham, and Brandon Marshall, and who's that? What's the other guy?
God,
What's the other guy?
put me on
Man, I know. I forgot it. It escapes my mind. I'll get it and we'll come back. But go ahead, finish up.
But anyway, that was a great move, and There will be more. I mean, we'll have more to talk about next week in terms of movement in the NFL. But hopefully the teams will make the moves to get who they need to improve. And I know that's a big
early prediction. Who you got?
Giants.
Who you got that's going to win the Super Bowl next year?
Next year?
Yeah. Who you got? That's your
I don't
5,000 foot jumper.
Know. Well, I mean,
come on, man. Come on.
Okay, easy. The Cowboys.
Okay, I'm going Oakland. Oakland Raiders, baby. Okay. Oakland Raiders.
Yeah.
All right, what you think about them Golden State Warriors,
man?
You
going there? Okay, while we're in Oakland, while we're in the Bay Area. Well, the KD effect is in effect for the Warriors. The Warriors
we see how
just lost to the Celtics by convincing. I mean, Celtics weren't playing with them.
Now Celtics got some hate for them anyway.
and I understand fans were headed for the doors in the third
at Oracle.
Quarter. Yeah, at Oracle.
Nah, man, they fans wasn't headed to the door.
They were walking, Jack.
Third quarter.
Third quarter.
Really?
So they were walking.
Wow.
They were walking.
So the KD is playing a bigger role than we thought.
The Celtics were up by like 18 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
So they were walking.
Steph is not playing very well, though. I mean, his game has been really inconsistent. I mean, I think the other night he went 2 for 9 from 3-point. Then another game a few games ago, he was 0 for 11. Then I saw him go like 1 for like about 9 or 10. I mean, I'm wondering what's going on with him and why he's not playing well, or if just the adjustment with KD has been so much, and now he doesn't have KD.
Yeah.
But we also see that KD plays a valuable role on defense too.
And meantime, those Spurs are slow walking them down.
And the claw.
As we speak, they're a game and a half behind
the claw.
them.
That's all I got to say. Kawhi Leonard looks like the true deal. I mean, he is going to be a beast in the playoffs. He's hitting clutch shots. He's added a 3-point shot to his repertoire. I'm really impressed with what Kawhi Leonard has been able to do and how his game has evolved over the years.
We always talk about the West in the NBA, but in the East, Isiah Thomas is real, isn't he?
Man, that kid. I mean, he and what's interesting is that it seems like he's developed this killer mindset. I wonder if his training sessions with Floyd Mayweather has kind of rubbed off on him a little bit.
Yeah, training really?
Yeah, they're like best boys. Yeah, they're like best friends.
Okay.
I mean, they spend a lot of time together, especially during the off season. They play a lot of basketball. They work out quite a bit. So, I mean, I'm sure his workout regimen has to be just awesome. We kind of hanging with Floyd Mayweather.
And speaking of Floyd Mayweather, I think professional boxing, fortunately for them, their distribution channels are increasing. They're on television more. They're on network.
They just signed a deal. They just signed a deal with Twitter.
Right.
Yeah, they signed out
with Twitter, and they're on CBS.
Yeah, they did.
CBS is carrying boxing.
Yeah.
When did that ever happen?
Well, you got the Showtime deal.
Right.
So that makes sense.
But listen, why are they going into sideshows? Well, I mean, they're getting very sideshow-ish.
Because
why they got to? Why
the octagon is? I'm gonna use my term, sucking all the air out of the room. The octagon has really, been a thorn in the side of professional boxing because that's what mixed martial arts. People want to see that. People want to see these blood sports, and I just don't think boxing is brutal enough. And I think that's the whole impetus around. Dana White trying to broker this deal with Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
I think it's because of that. I think that's why he feels so emboldened to say, no, you got to pay us more money because we know we're the one that's bringing eyeballs, but unlike boxing has.
You can't change the whole character of the sport of boxing.
They better.
What?
They better?
No, I mean, you can't make it. It's enough of a blood sport. You can't make it as much of one.
They're gonna make it as gory as possible, man. They gotta appeal to the audience.
So? You think
yeah,
so?
man. These cats are playing, Grand Theft Auto, all these killing games and stuff. The Call of Duty games, man. People want to see heads blown off and legs blown off, so they want to see somebody get beat to sleep. They want to give people, you got knocked up out. So you want to see that. You want to see Ronda Rousey get kicked in the head.
Speaking of changing, I understand there was some conversation about there is some conversation about the All-Star game changing as a result of
They heard us. They were listening to R&R.
Of the fiasco that was 2017
I got word.
All-Star game.
I got word from the NBA front office that they heard our comments, and especially yours, and said that they were going to make some changes immediately. No, they said I was listening to an interview with Adam Silver, and he said Chris Paul called him Monday morning and said, we got to make a change. We got to make a change from the union level. He said, because All-Star is just not it. And it has turned into a circus. It's like a terrible exhibition.
Yeah.
And I think that they have to put something on the games.
Right.
The game has to mean something. Even if they play a half at full throttle, I want to see something better than what we saw this year.
Right.
So
we'll
see some changes. They hadn't announced what kind of changes, but I'm imagining it's going to be some sort of benefit for winning to the East or the West.
March Madness.
Man,
ratings going to be up.
I don't know.
Are fans going to be engaged?
I think fans are going to be engaged to a certain degree. I think fans are going to always be engaged in the March Madness because of brackets and all those things, just to see how you turn out. But I don't see it being as big as it's ever been. And there's no, these guys are so young, I don't think a lot of America even knows who they are. So during this time is when you find out who those players are. But in this current environment, shoot, they're gone. The Josh Jacksons, the Balls, the Lonzo Balls, all of these good players, they're going to be in the league next year.
Well, the father Ball, probably has a future as color commentator or colored commentator.
He's a hype man. It's nothing else. You might see him in the middle of the daggone octagon.
The Bundini Brown of basketball. And with that,
young man, rumble.
We've got a fantastic conversation today.
Junkyard Dog.
That's right. That is right. One of the NBA's most colorful.
Colorful is a good way of putting it.
Most colorful past players. So stay with us here on R&R on Sports, and we'll be back with more after this.
You talking money, need a hearing aid. You talking about me, I don't see a shade. Switch on my side, like take any lane. Switch on my core if I kill any pain.
Yo, this your boy Chris Brown.
David West of the Golden State Warriors. Hey, this is Dr. J.
This is Shaq Adocious.
Yo, what's up? This is Ice Cube.
This is Nicki Minaj.
And you're listening to a little R&R on sports.
Football fans know some things just go together. Quarterbacks and receivers, face paint and super fans, game days and tailgates. State Farm agent Emerson Abel knows another winning combination, home and auto. Emerson and his team are here to help your life go right when you combine your home and auto insurance, which saves you time and money. So get your home and auto on the same team and score some savings with State Farm agent Emerson Abel, 901-837-7400.
You are listening to R&R on Sports. Remember to subscribe and rate our podcast. You can go to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Kazukian, or any of your favorite podcast providers.
I'm in love with your body. I'm in love with your body.
And we are here with ICONversation, and today the icon is a power forward in the NBA. Former power forward in the NBA. We're talking about don't get ahead of it. Don't get ahead of it. Mess up my interview. Talking about none other than Jerome Williams, also known as Junkyard Dog. Junkyard, welcome to R&R on Sports.
Happening.
There you go. How you doing, man?
I finally made the lineup for Icon.
There you go. That's right.
Going places.
ICONversation, and we do no less, man. When you think about the people we've had on this show in this spot, I should say, and we're happy to have you there.
Well, I appreciate being here, man. Thank you for having me on the show.
All right.
And you're residing out in Las Vegas right now, right?
That's right. I'm holding out the desert down here.
Oh, okay. Hey, y'all gonna ever get a pro team out there, man? You gonna get an NBA team out there?
Hey, it's just a matter of time. You know,
is.
I'm gonna wait it out. It's sort of like waiting out water out here. You know,
Just don't see a mirage. Don't see a mirage.
You get a trickle, and it keeps you alive.
Did you happen to see the jersey retirement that the Pistons did last night of Rip Hamilton?
Hey, between all the tear jerkers and everything that was falling, I did catch a couple clips. I thought Chauncey Billups' shout out to his teammate was by far definitely heartfelt, and I could definitely feel it. So that was a great opportunity for Rip. Anytime you get your jersey retired, that's forever. So congratulations to him and his family.
That's fantastic. Now, for first timers, we always want to hit the journey, how you got, your path to the NBA, and so give us the Cliff Note version.
Cliff Notes.
Give us the. You remember those? You remember those?
Yeah, definitely Cliff Notes. I can give it to you. You know, it all started, you know, in my backyard. Dad taking me outside, and you know, didn't do any drills with me. We weren't out there, you know, practicing ball handling or rebounding or shots. It was check ball. You know, it was old school. He had the high tube socks on. That's right. And,
check ball.
And it was, you just lost 12-1. Okay, well, we'll be back out here tomorrow and see what you got for me tomorrow. And
so he beat up on you. He beat up on you on a daily basis.
On a daily basis, myself and my older brother Johnny. So, he said he used to teach us that if we didn't work together, we would never beat him.
Right.
And he'd go hard.
Right.
You know, my dad was old school.
Right.
I mean, he hit us with picks and foul us. We hit the ground, and that wasn't a foul. He's like, "Are you bleeding?"
Yeah. No foul.
No foul.
Yeah.
Okay, so today that would be called child abuse, right?
No, he was just preparing him to be a bad boy in Detroit. That's all.
That's right.
There's no and one.
Key.
That's fantastic.
But you know, my dad really took the time to spend time with myself and my brothers. And that's where we really just developed a love for the game. It was about just spending time with our dad. So when opportunities started to come, that didn't take place until later, because in high school I was an average player. I grew to be about 6'3" my senior year, and you know, that's not Division I territory.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't Division II, and it wasn't even Division III. So I took the other route, which was like many high school graduates. I went and had to find a local help wanted sign and get a job and try to continue my education that way.
Okay.
Because my parents couldn't afford, of course, college. So I enrolled in a local junior college called Montgomery College there in Maryland, and received my first degree after 2 years. But within the first 6 months of my enrollment that summer, prior to that summer, I had a prayer I had to lay up, and let the Lord know I needed 6 inches. I said, it's not going to work at this height. It's not going to work. And I know you got big things, you got big plans for me. So in order for me to accomplish your goals, I'm going to need I need 6 inches. And I was very specific with the prayer. I said, I don't want 7 or 8, because I don't want to be that tall. I want to be 6'9". I want to be Magic Johnson height.
Oh wow!
So let me make sure. Let me put this in perspective. Let me put this in perspective.
This is R&R on Sports, and we're speaking with NBA veteran, former NBA veteran, Jerome Junkyard Dog Williams.
Okay, let me put this in perspective. There were people at the time praying for food, shelter, protection. I mean, in war-torn countries and whatnot, and you were praying to God for 6 inches of height.
That's right. See, that's the thing. People don't understand. You can pray to God for whatever you need.
Whatever you need.
It's all about your needs. See, I had food, I had water, I had a roof.
Okay, you had clothes.
But see, you know, some people are crazy enough to say, you know, Lord, give me some money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, when He give you some money, but then whatever you going to spend
what you gonna do with it, right?
Yeah. So, you know, I was specific. I said, listen, you give me this height, I can work. I'm gonna do the work to do the rest, because height, there's a lot of 6'9" guys walking around.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
See, there's things that have to go along with that 6'9" in order to have a career in the NBA.
So how long did it take that prayer to be answered?
Oh man, it took I was 6'8" by the end of the summer.
Nice.
Wow, you went from 6'3" to 6'8".
Oh, absolutely. And
won't he do it? Won't he do it?
Hey, and mind you, you read any statistics, science, everything. After a male reaches his 18th birthday, he grows an average of a half an inch after his 18th birthday. Yeah. So
you grew 6.
I was well past my 18th birthday,
you blew that one out of the water, man. You blew that curve.
Grower and
shower.
See,
I didn't blow that out the water. See, the Lord blew that out the water. He said, "Yeah, see, most people don't, you know."
So you were still
got their own beliefs.
You were still in Montgomery at the time, right? So you grow. I mean, so did you become?
Well, I just enrolled. I just had enrolled. I had to save up the money over the summer to enroll.
Okay.
Yeah,
so did you start playing ball? Did you start playing ball immediately upon enrollment?
Oh, let me tell you how that went. So basically, there was a sign up saying, "Hey, look, we're going to have tryouts on Thursday after class around 4:00. Anybody that wishes to sign up, you know, or come try out for the team are welcome.
Mm-hmm.
We welcome all students." I showed up. There was 6 other guys there. And the coach said, "Here are your jerseys. You all made the team. And if you know anybody else that would like to play, let them know we got openings."
Right.
So there wasn't much of a team, if you know what I'm saying. So pretty much I was still out there on, traveling in the Washington, D.C. area, homing my skill on the streets because – you know, that wasn't the competition I was really looking for.
Right. So how does one go from that ragtag kind of situation to Georgetown?
Yeah, very easy. You know, growing up in the D.C., the DMV, you know, there's plenty of high-level basketball.
Right.
Absolutely.
You know, and I found the gym where pros and high Division I players were playing on the streets and what courts to go to, what times, and you develop your own reputation because when you beat the right people, then they let you know where the secret run is.
Absolutely.
Right.
You know, you dunk on the right folks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They say, "Hey man, excuse me." Pull you off to the side afterwards. Hey, listen, we running around 8:00. You know, it's very exclusive.
Right.
You know, like those exclusive clubs.
Right.
Exclusive basketball.
Right.
And you find those exclusive times, and you playing against the real competition, and you gain your respect that way. So that was pretty much my way of going about doing things, and it was a very unique opportunity, and I took advantage of it.
Wow.
This is R&R on Sports, and we're speaking with NBA veteran Jerome Junkyard Dog Williams.
And so the name Junkyard came from Rick Mahorn, is that correct?
Yep, and Grant Long, that's right.
Ah, nice. How do you think Detroit basketball, or the state of the NBA really right now, what do you think of the way the game is played currently?
Well, I think, you know, the game of basketball is an evolution. I think that now it's a faster paced game. There's less big bodies in the NBA than there were when I was playing. Meaning that, you know, the Shaqs of the world, the Mark Eatons, the big the big overpowering centers are dwindling.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're more stretch centers, stretch fours.
Yeah.
You know, the Marc Gasols. He would have been more of a low post guy back in the day, one-dimensional. Now,
Right.
Marc Gasol gets out and shoots threes.
Yeah.
And he's a perimeter shooter. Does a lot of face-up basketball. He can still give it to you in the low post, but the game has evolved in such a way that Anthony Davis is now a force from the outside and inside, but he faces up at the basket. DeMarcus Cousins
that
is
was
probably
my
one of
next
the most
question.
dominant big men of our time right now,
Mm-hmm.
but he's more flexible in the post as well. So the time of the bigs has really been the thing that has changed the most in the last 10 to 15 years, with more up-tempo basketball. So I think that had to do with like the European style coming into the NBA
for
more,
sure.
bringing more guys that do more face-up at the taller positions, and now we're now in the result of that. But I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, I would have loved to have a more up-tempo game when I was playing, because that was what my game was geared towards.
Right.
I was more like a Draymond Green in terms of being able to handle the ball and different things, but because of the makeup of the league then, that was not really somewhat needed, especially playing with a guy like Grant Hill,
Yeah.
Right.
who was like our version of Mr. Triple-Double
Right.
back then. So, just a different style than in years past, but only from, like I'd say, from a bigs perspective.
All right. We've got to break right here, but we're going to come back and ask you about some more stuff. I mean, this is
I want to
great
know
stuff.
about his Georgetown days, man.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the whole transition thing when we come back with more R&R on Sports right after this.
I'm in love with your body. I'm in love with your body.
Rolling down the street with my radio on, listen to Funky Politics.
The mayor of the city of Memphis, Mayor Jim Strickland. How are you, sir?
Fantastic. We keep it real, we keep it right, and we keep it funky.
Funky Politics, part of the Katsukian Network.
I'll play the blues for you.
Blues in the Basement with Stephanie and T-Shaw.
Some great festivals going on around the tri-state area.
Got your dancing shoes?
Man, as long as I'm with you, baby, I'm always be on my toes.
Drop that zero.
Bring your blues, boo.
I got them.
We'll see you.
Thank you.
Blues in the Basement.
Thrill is gone.
Blues in the Basement, part of the Katsukian Network.
The thrill is gone away.
Hello, I'm Howard Robertson.
J to the C.
And I am the magnificent, the amazing, the phenomenal Larry Robinson.
All right here on R&R on Sports on the Sports Byline Network every Saturday morning. This is the best way to start your weekend.
Catch us, receive us, pass us on to your friends.
Wasn't that cute? Wasn't that cute?
We also got some of the best interviews during our iConversation segment.
Every Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific.
R&R on Sports, part of the Katsukian Network.
Yo, this your boy Chris Brown.
David West of the Golden State Warriors. Hey, this is Dr. J.
This is Shaq Adocious.
Yo, what's up? This is Ice Cube.
This is Nicki Minaj.
And you're listening to a little R&R on Sports.
I know I can treat you better than he can, and any girl like you deserves a gentleman.
And we are back with more R&R on Sports.
Talking about dogs.
Talking about dogs with the dog.
The big dog.
Top dog.
Junkyard
Dog. That's right. Talking about his big dog. Or his
little Jack
ferocious,
Terrier. His little Jack
big
Terrier.
ferocious dog. Listen, we were talking about styles of play, and you came through at a time and start to talk about this from the Georgetown days. You came through at a time where you witnessed and were a part of really a transition of the game, how the games change, the positions change, and all of that. Talk about that. And did Big John have anything to do with that at Georgetown? Did Georgetown drive any of that?
Well, Georgetown was absolutely a driving force. John Thompson, what he had built of the brand of Georgetown was just a phenomenal thing for a young male athlete, African American especially, to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
Also thankful to get that opportunity, that high level focus on education, but really, doing a service to the African American community by taking these young men and giving them this opportunity and saying, hey, listen, this is something that you'll be able to live, that'll live with you for the rest of your life.
Right.
And that was just on the academic side. On the basketball side, it was just a way of, like, it was almost like that old school basketball where defense wins championships. He had established it with teams before Patrick Ewing. Then Patrick came and really just solidified Georgetown as a brand in terms of nobody comes in the paint without that fear of getting their shot thrown into the stand.
Mm-hmm.
And he follows up Patrick with Alonzo Mourning and then Dikembe Mutombo.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get a guard, a power forward, shot-blocking center named Othello Harrington, who was an undersized center. And, I watched this evolution from afar. And after I was able to get my degree from junior college, John Thompson recruited me off the playground. He came and watched me play on the streets and offered me a scholarship on the spot. And that really was a changing point, because a lot of schools had came to recruit me and offer me scholarships.
Right.
But it was none that were talking to me about graduation.
Okay.
Wow.
Talking to me about my education.
Yeah.
And they didn't understand that, I went out and pumped gas, waited on tables to pay for my education because it was that important to me.
Wow.
See, nobody giving me the scholarship, the free shoes, the free airfare, none of that was going on. So for most colleges, they just saw me as another great player that could come help their program.
Mm-hmm.
John Thompson came with the idea of, hey, I'm going to give you this opportunity for one of the top educations in the country. Would you like to take advantage of that?
This is R&R on Sports, and we're speaking with Georgetown graduate Jerome Junkyard Dog Williams. Jerome, tell us, John Thompson really had an interesting transition during that time that he recruited you, because there was a point guard that had just gotten out of jail in the Hampton, Virginia area, who matriculated to Georgetown around the same time. And we're talking about no other than NBA Hall of Famer Allen Iverson. What was it like going from those big center, power forward, front line dominated program to moving to having this superstar of Allen Iverson's caliber and playing with you guys during that time?
It was very unique. And shout out to Bubba Chuck.
Hey,
Bubba Chuck.
my boy AI, man. It was amazing seeing him get entered into the Basketball Hall of Fame. And this time, like you said, was a serious transition, because Coach had done everything out of the post. The last point guard he had was Joey Brown.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much, the typical Georgetown look. You have a good point guard. George Butler was like the two, and you had your post presidents, and with Othello Harrington who was a All-American as a sophomore. So, this was different. He's coming in with this speed, this athleticism, unmatched. The crossover was developing, and he was a blur, and nobody knew what to do. He had these dynamic passes. He could get into places that you could never figure out how he was able to get in there and create shots for himself. And tough as nails.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, Coach really was a little baffled. Then, on top of that, he recruited a guy, myself, who was willing to just, I'll be flat out honest with you. I probably was a different animal in terms of what Coach Thompson was expecting as well.
In what way?
Because in the way that I was viewed as an NBA player ready after my junior year.
Mm-hmm.
But I was willing to play a role in that situation. I was willing to go and get all the rebounds and all the shots that Allen put up and anybody else on our team to help our team to win. And I led the Big East in rebounding my first year in the Big East.
Wow.
I was an up-tempo guy, so I could actually keep up with Allen somewhat. Somewhat, because nobody could keep up with him, but that gave us a different level of fast break that Georgetown hadn't seen in a while. It was just a phenomenal thing to be a part of, a great memory for myself in terms of the history of basketball history of Georgetown.
What did you
part of that era?
What did you get from Big John and the Georgetown experience that you took with you to the NBA that served you the best?
I definitely say that the defense served me very well because learning angles, learning aspects of defense, all those things that we were taught to do and you had to do in order to play for Georgetown. When you get into the pros, it's something that people are like, well, how do you do that? This is what we do. What do you mean?
Right. Yeah, that's the way I was raised.
Yes, right. But then you say off the court, you have to be on time for classes. You have to study your work.
So it was serious about the classroom.
That's right. You have to be prepared. And
the lady sat right there on the bench with you guys.
The academic lady.
Right. And when you see players get put out of Georgetown because of a missed test, a paper didn't get written. When you see that kind of stuff, you understand this is not, a country club fake get your education institution.
Right.
And Coach Thompson, you look at his record, he had a 97% graduation rate.
Wow,
that's huge
for anybody to stay with him for 4 years. But if you look at all the people he put out of the school, because they did not want to go to school, they just wanted to play basketball. They thought because of their athleticism, they would be able to do whatever they wanted to do, and that wasn't the case. And that's the one thing that I respect to the utmost about Georgetown University and Coach Thompson. They hired the guy who stuck to exactly what he told the school he was going to do.
So transitioning on from there, and the reason that I truly wanted to have you on R&R on Sports, Jerome, is your commitment to our youth and your belief that we have to give back, especially professional athletes and people involved in athletics as a whole universe, not just the athletes on the court. Can you give us, in these last few minutes of this interview, can you give us an idea of what you're doing and why it means so much to you to give back to the youth, specifically urban youth?
Well, first and foremost, we are one of the top, I'd say, top 3 in aspirations of young African American males. Being a professional athlete, we're in the top 3. And when you know that as an adult who has climbed the mountain, been to the top, and been able to look over the edge and then start walking down the other side, I think I owe it to my next generation to be able to go and touch them and talk to them, answer some questions, because you can save so many lives just by your story. No kid understands or would believe that I didn't have any scholarships when I was a senior in high school till I tell them. No kid would understand that, well, he didn't have any money, but he went out and just, what he did, he went to a gas station, was pumping gas to pay for his education. Kids wouldn't know that. And then they see the end result of you making millions of dollars, but most kids can relate to no opportunity and no money. And that was me. So by them being able to hear what I have to say and how I overcame some of those obstacles, then they can also apply that to their lives And that's what we're doing with Shooting for Peace. It's not only my story, but it's a collective group of NBA veterans and ex-players and current players and Harlem Globetrotters and people who shoot the basketball but now are trying to bring peace to the community. And our mission is to bring community together. You know, we're promoting education through reading. We're encouraging young people to engage in peaceful activities and sports. And the vision is to inspire the youth to unite and reach their greatest potential. That's the vision. So, you know, Shooting for Peace is a program that I've gotten behind, and a lot of other basketball players and professional athletes have gotten behind in order to come into the schools and just be present. You know, be present there. We do poetry reading. We do a celebrity basketball game where we take on the students and the teachers and the police officers and people in the neighborhood to just have a rallying call of, hey, this game of basketball is something that's global. It transcends ethnicity, and it's a tool. It's been used as a tool for decades upon decades, and you know, most of it, you know, is for revenue. I mean, from the college game to the professional game. But as African Americans, the ones who, you know, are pretty much the forerunners in this sport, we owe it to our community to come back and reach back and inspire and let them know, hey, education can work for you. Education is going to help you beyond anything that you can do physically. You know, I'm able to continue on in life because I got my education.
There you go. Important.
That's what it's all about, man.
Important and powerful. From the Junkyard Dog, Jerome Williams.
You got to come back, brother.
Oh yeah,
you got to come back.
You know, a junkyard dog is always barking. A junkyard dog is always on the case, and he does not stray. So don't stray from us for too long. All right.
That's right. I won't.
We will be back with more on our own sports right after this. Thanks for being with us.
I know I can treat you better than he can. I'll stop time for you.
Hello, everybody. This is Tim Brown, 2015 NFL Hall of Fame inductee, and you are listening to R&R on Sports.
And now it's time to say goodbye.
Arrivederci
to all our company. MIC. KEYMOUSE.
Mickey Mouse.
That's it. How many of y'all remember that?
Oh, man.
Remember
you know, see the 50 and over club.
Yeah. Shout outs before we go, though.
I got a shout out. I got a big shout out.
Okay.
And it's not a sports person. It's
right.
Chance the Rapper.
Chance the Rapper.
Absolutely.
Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
Yeah, but that's the only way you know Chance.
That's the only way I know the dude. Really, seriously.
Oh, man,
I saw the Kit Kat commercial, and they said Chance the Rapper, and he does it, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the only way. I'm out of the demo. I admit. I mean, I didn't know him.
When I realized that he was a big
Grammy,
time,
right?
But before then, he was talking about the chicken and foot massage thing with Steph Curry.
Oh, really?
They do a little dance on this little spoof commercial out of Chicago.
Oh,
where it was chicken and foot. Jones Chicken and Foot Massage? I think it was.
Oh, it's a business?
Yeah, and they put like the little sauces all on your feet, like in honey gold and all that. Then massage your feet, and then they said we'll cook anything. We'll cook a turkey. So then they drive.
Wait, really? You get a foot massage with like some
like honey gold.
That's sick.
Yeah, it is.
That's nasty.
Sick. But listen, I want to shout him out, but I also want to shout out the Brooklyn Nets for recognizing Biggie. It's Biggie night, Notorious Big night at the Brooklyn Nets because of the 20th anniversary of his death.
Right.
So
I saw that.
So I want to give a shout out to the Wallace family, P. Diddy, and the folks over at the Brooklyn Nets.
You know who I want to shout out?
Who you got?
That's kind of cute.
Who's that?
I just looked for a while.
Who?
Jeannie Buss.
Jeannie is a cute woman. She's not a bad looking woman at all. And I'm glad that she's able to.
I want to shout you out.
She brought them claws out.
You better watch yourself. Somebody might be pushing up on you in the near future. And with that,
shouting out Jeannie Buss. Hey man, she brought her claws out on her brother's boy.
Oh yes,
boy, she brought the claws out. Yes. She said, "Don't let the smooth taste fool you."
Right, that's right. Had to get rid of
absolutely
somebody.
But she got magic. She had some magic,
Irvin. But we have had a great time. But it's time to go, and we're going to be back same place, same time next week. Y'all have a fantastic week, and take care of yourselves and each other.
Peace.
R&R on Sports is recorded live at LPI Studios in the heart of Memphis, Tennessee. Web designer Daniel Coates, executive producer Larry Robinson, written by Howard Robertson, and produced by Reggie Fine. And don't forget, you can listen or download our podcast anytime at Kidzukian.com. That's KUDZUKIAN. R&R on Sports, part of the Kidzukian Network.